Well, the story has evolved, and we would like to issue a retraction and an apology
Oh,
for
really?
our arrest. Listen to this. This is from Foreign Policy. Swedengate was a lesson in how easily
Oh my God.
misinformation spreads. Again, misinformation come here every time. We are Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, we got fucked by misinformation. The Syrian war and Ukraine war, gray zone, we got, gray zone misinformation, and Jimmy Dore fucked. Like every time we are just fucked by misinformation. One person's anecdote became a false lesson in national character. By Elizabeth Braw, a columnist at Foreign Policy and a fellow at American Enterprise Institute. So really, Elizabeth Braw, you're doing well with your job and time. You're spending it on the right things. There are a lot of Sweden haters out there.
Oh, jeez, come on, calm down.
Are there? I thought everybody loved anyway. Or rather, a lot of people with time on their hands and possibly a bit of help from people and groups wishing to harm Sweden. Harm Sweden? It was just a rumor. Anyway, within just a couple of days, a bizarre Reddit post about Swedes not feeding their guests dinner became an internet phenomenon, even though there is no research backing it up.
Research?
What are you talking about, lady? It was just like an anecdotal, like it was a clickbait.
Yeah.
Chill the fuck out. Like it's like saying, Iranians can't stop drinking tea even after they're dead. Like there's no research behind that, but we all know it's true. Even though other countries can learn lessons from the mysterious Swedengate and how easily misinformation can spread, even when there is no malign actor behind it, just simple gullibility. Quote, what is the weirdest thing you had to do at someone else's house because of their culture / religion? A screen Reddit poster asked in May. Guys, please add your own scary music over my reading of this article. And a user responded that, I remember going to my Swedish friend's house, and while we were playing in this room, his mom yelled that dinner was ready. And check this, he told me to wait in his room while they ate. This shit was fucking wild. So this was the research, lady, behind that, romantic research.
But there's no claim that experience wasn't like this. Maybe the experience was correct. Like nobody knows that person. Right? How do you know? I mean, he was just talking about his experience. He didn't say that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he did, but he didn't say that this was widely reflected everywhere. Or I don't know what, and others took it.
No.
Go to the next. Yeah.
He clearly implies every Swedish person is.
I mean, he told about his experience. We don't know. That could have been absolutely true. So
in no time, the comment was going viral on Reddit, then on Twitter, then on Instagram. Oh. People began writing with comments about how weird and inhospitable Swedes are. On one Instagram post added a map that illustrated how stingy Northern Europe are, with Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland, and parts of Northern Germany marked a frightening dark red. This is where identity black people, Latinos, Middle Eastern, whatever you are, this is what happens in the end. Identity politics gets us where Norwegians and Danish are like, oh, you're maligning the Northern Europeans by putting a frighteningly red color on our map. Jesus Christ. I mean, I must say though, salute to this lady. I mean, like seriously, you got this many words out of shitty article, got published in Foreign Policy. Well done to you. Whatever grift you're doing is working. Swedengate quickly became a topic and migrated to traditional media with newspapers eagerly reporting on this previously known aspect of Swedish culture. A Swedish child sat at the dinner table while his friend and a friend's parents dine on meatballs, mashed potatoes, and lingonberry sauce. Come on, that's not all they eat. That's not all they eat in Sweden.
So wait, therefore,
it's a quote. I have to. Yeah, delicious aroma wafts below the child's nose, but there is no plate for it. It's like written as if it's Oliver
but read the next word.
The New York Times reported.
So if we're even going to take that misinformation who's being spread.
It's New York Times.
I didn't see it on Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit for like 2 years.
I saw it on
Twitter, not on Instagram. I saw it in New York Times. And now foreign policy.
Let me read this beautiful sentence from New York Times again. A Swedish child sits at a dinner table while his friend and the friend's parents dine on meatballs, mashed potatoes, and lingerberry sauce. The delicious aroma wafts below the child's nose, but there is no plate for him. There's no plate. There's no spoons.
So, but is that not true
cutlery.
Though? But was this not true? I don't get it.
And then the child is forced to see them order Haagen-Dazs from the local, supermarket. As they eat the Haagen-Dazs, the child goes, "Please, sir, please, can I have a meatball?" And they go, "No, that's for the dogs."
But I mean, if you're gonna be like really, really fair, right? Like the lady didn't technically debunk any of these stories. Like this reporting could be true, right? It's the generalization, if anything, isn't true.
She's saying that. No, she's saying this. That how first of all, she thinks that everybody who read that thought that it's genuinely like every Swedish person, if they have a guest, sorry, it's against our culture, can't feed you, fuck off, go to Norway, I don't care. Go to Norway with all their fancy Western culture, feeding their guests. So I don't think anybody thought. It's just it's like as somebody I think in the comments put that it's probably they don't. I think that was the original thing. They don't do dinner parties that often. Like it's just like they. Yeah. I think they have that fika thing. Have you heard about that? They usually have coffee and cake in the afternoon or late afternoon fika. Or they have fika a lot of they have coffee. They love coffee from what I understand in Sweden and shit. It's a big sort of and then maybe they drink at night. I don't know, but I never thought it's like, I thought maybe back in the days it was like a thing that older people didn't like. Maybe I don't know, but it wasn't like I was thinking Swedes being disparaged anyway. It was okay. It's a weird culture.
Yeah, no, I thought exactly like they don't insist on the food, and perhaps even in some places they're like, oh, like no, like family dinner. Even if you have your friend here, like I don't know. We just have it between us. For family. Something. But this lady, I mean, she proved really what she proved is that the New York Times, if someone spreads misinformation, that's my takeaway.
New York Times, New York Times. To be fair, the way New York Times put it, it's like it's as if the child was kidnapped or something. This setting, this is from New York Times still. This setting, while quite normal in Sweden and other Nordic countries, has horrified people around the world, shocked to learn that some Swedish families do not invite their children's visiting friends to eat with them at mealtime. Again, horrified. Do you know the understanding of who was going, dropping like their mobile phone, like Kaiser Soze at the end of the Usual Suspect, glasses falling off of people. I was one of people who was very I was like, it's such a good idea.
Some people I didn't. I mean, I was like, that would suck if you're in the room, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The case provided opportunities for op-ed contributions too, as if op-ed contributors were waiting for that. As if not just Elizabeth, what was it? Elizabeth Braw, all op-ed writers are not just basically they would write, as we can see, they would write about anything, or anyway. She talks about the somebody oh, this is so great. Listen to this. In Britain's The Independent, a Swede named Linda Johansson, who's neither a reporter nor a sociologist, but runs an Etsy shop, waited in to say, "I'm Swedish. It's true that we don't serve food to guests. What's the problem?" She presented no data documenting this alleged habit. Come here. No, you're not allowed to talk about Iran anymore without data. What was your primary research? What institute funded your comment on independence?
In Iran, they eat a lot of kebab. Where's your data? Holy shit! So you have to get meat consumption the pound.
Unfortunately,
go in the Ministry of Agriculture. Okay, looking for raw data.
Independent called me for a comment. If I could please request some of the confidential data on meat usage in Iran, if that is possible.
Broken down by region.
Yeah, please. Unfortunately, the New York Times forgot to investigate whether the social media posters' allegations were in fact true, instead relying on unconfirmed information, such as a tweet by a pop star Zara Larsson. The piece's reporter is a general assignment reporter based in New York City and has no Sweden expertise. Who has Sweden expertise? Who are these Sweden experts? Swedish experts. Ask me. I tell, what are you talking? What is wrong with you? You're like, this is not brains. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love this lady. I'm going to follow her and read like everything she's written before and after this, just forever. I mean, can you imagine writing this by a tweet pop star, and then in parentheses, the piece's reporter is a general assignment reporter.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like a general assignment kind of story.
There are, in fact, no studies that show that Swedes fail to feed guest dinners more frequently than. Although lots of social media posters claim to have experienced being left out of dinners, countless Swedes were baffled at allegations, as ought to be well known by now. Just because an allegation exists on social media doesn't mean it has to be true. Justice for Johnny, buddy. Justice for Johnny.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so I guess it's really based on like, if all these people are also saying that, like, why would they say that? It's nothing crazy. It seems like, yeah, in Sweden, there's a chance they don't do it too much.
Now I think we are getting to the real why she's getting upset. Like other Swedes, okay, I have never not been fed when visiting a friend or acquaintance, and without scientific documentation of the practice, concluding from various social media allegations that a failure to feed guests is a national habit, is as credible as saying, arguing that former US President Donald Trump won the 2020 election because somebody said on YouTube. She's one of these fucking January 6 freak type misinformation freaks. She's trying to connect anything. I mean, can you believe it? Like these people, they got a ban. Again, I'm for free speech. Really, I genuinely mean that. I'm not for free speech because I believe, through free speech and investigative reporting, we're gonna cover.
Yeah.
Because I believe in fun. That's just one fun we have as like non-powerful people. We can laugh and shit, like, and they gotta take that away from us, these motherfuckers. Oh my God.
Man,
many Swedes tried to take the baffling campaign on the chin. I quote, I enjoyed the thread in blah, blah, it's some it's some thread. I can't read thread names. I enjoyed the thread in where Greeks and Bulgarians and Turks put their genocidal dreams aside to conclude that Swedes are damn weird. Jesus Christ.
Man, she's making such a big thing out of it. I mean,
This is a quote from somebody else. This is a quote for many. This is one of those Swedes that took it on. This is taking it on the chin that somebody jokes about your feeding habit, and you mentioned the fact that they're genocidal.
Exactly.
I mean,
like a normal person would react with it this way. A normal person would be like, listen, people are saying this. As a Swede, this has really not been my experience, and I can also tell you 10 other people who don't do this. That's how a normal person reacts. No scientific evidence.
I hope this lady never goes to a comedy show in UK because Scottish, Irish, English, Liverpool, Scouse, people from Newcastle, everybody's really Birmingham, Southerners, posh boys, non-posh boys, everybody's made fun of, and there is no scientific research being, Eddie's or scientific research about how Germans are, funny.
And listen, you have the full article. I'm only able to read half of it. Does she provide? Yeah, no, it only opens half, and I don't know. I rarely ever read from the time, so I don't know why. But does she provide scientific evidence that the reverse is true, that when you go at this
she's pointing out the lack of scientific evidence.
But so she doesn't have scientific evidence on the other side though. Do you get what I mean? She doesn't have scientific evidence proving that when you go to Sweden's house, they actually give you food if you're a friend, and all this for all age groups, for all sexes, across all socioeconomic classes across the city.
To be fair, the one who makes the claim has to prove it. That's the
Fair
thing.
enough.
That's what I use against religious people, because the religious people do the same thing. You don't have evidence for God doesn't exist, and I'm like, you made the I don't know.
But I mean, she
He
brought it
does.
up. But she brought it up.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, man, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like she talks about taking it on the chin is mentioning that Greek, Bulgarians, and Turks are all genocidal. And then some of it is bullshit, but then you wouldn't believe how far she goes. Then the odd food post took a darker turn as social media accounts seemingly belonging to real people began complaining that Swedes don't just fail to feed their guests, but are racist too. Because again, nobody knows about that. Oh, racism in Northern Europe. What a surprise. You
only
know?
other places. There's racism only in other places.
Racism only in America. Yeah. Really, it's just America. Everybody else in the world is just, all the Europeans come here, as you know, are very educated, multicultural people. And by the way, one of the best books, like, I don't know one of the books written in Sweden, but one of the more famous one was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and all that. And all of that about like these like layer on this the underneath of the Swedish culture, and you know it has its problems just like any other. Iranians, there's a lot of Iranian racists as racists too. That was when some analysts started to worry. Why? Wait. Sweden had, after all, just begun the process of joining NATO, frustrating a country with a history of turning domestic tension into information warfare fodder, or of inventing entirely. Quote, a seemingly innocuous thread on Reddit rapidly going viral and turning into a campaign of hatred and threats, with Swedes being called racist, summarized Antoine Leff, a Swedish communication consultant who specializes in disinformation and misinformation. I'm guessing he's at the same level as Paul Mason in terms of expertise. This quote, this can be a part of the general public discourse and it can be entertaining to some, but a hostile group or country can also take advantage of a viral phenomenon. And this type of media phenomenon can benefit different actors. Sweden's new psychological defense agency examined the case and determined the campaign had not been instigated by a hostile state. So even the Swedish goddamn psychological defense agency, which I had no idea you can have this defense agency, but well done for having it. The agency has responsibility for foreign malign influence campaign. So she tried to connect it to this. The Swedish psychological defense agency said, "Lady, chill the fuck out. It's just a joke." And then Swedengate is only the latest example of defamation campaigns targeting Sweden. The Reddit post may have begun as an innocuous fun, but it was quickly taken over by people who had no compunction about spreading rumors and inflating them by adding new unverified information and outright falsehood. A strategist in Moscow, Beijing, and beyond could sit back and let social media users' stupidity and laziness do their work for them. So this is really weird. She's not even saying that they were behind it. Yeah. She's saying because you're stupid and because you like to laugh, or because you believe that, or whatever, you're doing their work for them. You're all useful idiots. We are all useful idiots. Sorry.
Led by the New York Times. I don't know why she keeps on going back to this Reddit thing.
Yes.
And again, that person could have been saying the truth. I mean, that person never said that, it's everybody in Sweden doesn't do this. They spoke about their own personal experience, right, in Reddit on that first paragraph.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure at some point, as it's everything online, you get a thread, people just saying racist stuff about Swedish people, or saying really bad stuff about Sweden, but that has nothing to do with anyway.
Yeah.
As I highlighted in a recent piece, she's again one of those like Taylor Lawrence type that, what was it, Nina Jankowicz type, as I highlighted in a piece I wrote. As I highlighted in a recent piece for Foreign Policy, And I promise you guys, foreign policy is becoming a staple of our show. I'm going to be reading after this article. I'm exclusively, dedicating my life to reading foreign policy. Sweden was targeted by a disinformation campaign alleging that Swedish social services kidnap Muslim children.
What?
Like Swedengate, it did considerable damage to the country's reputation. You think kidnapping Muslim children is the same as, they have a culture that they may not feed their guests?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And like Swedengate, it presented no evidence to back up the allegation. Even if, quote, even if Swedengate is not instigated or coordinated by a hostile country, Sweden's image could take a hit. Leif noted. Leif was the misinformation expert.
But now hold on. There she had a point. Now, if you're going to make that kind of claim, sure. Some research should go with it.
Oh, yeah. What? Like their image going to take a hit?
No. That, the child thing.
The
Muslim child.
Yes, yeah. Yes. That's very different.
Exactly.
Very different. That's the point. It's
exactly. That's the point you're trying to make. I know.
But and then it's got two more paragraphs. It's bullshit, but I like to read this. But even if it was more likely to be the result of random nonsense than targeted vitriol, even if you had the psychological defense ministry look into this, what you want more from the Swedish government? I don't get it. Swedengate should prompt some self-examination among those who shared the content. One of the first viral spreaders of the original post turned out to be a repeat sharer of propaganda and general junk. Although Beijing or Moscow likely does not pay for the poster, he or she is certainly not a reliable source of information. I've got news for you, lady. Internet is not a reliable source of information.
Man, this whole article, she never went back to the New York Times. Like, if she would have at least lectured us on the New York Times for a paragraph, I would have taken her much more seriously. Did she lecture us at all?
Yeah, like as a publisher of proper articles, you should look into them before. Yeah, that's much. But she's going after the real criminals.
I know, but that's exactly. That's the thing that, it shows that, how bad faith is because at the very least the New York Times should have received as much attention that she's giving to all these other posts and people, right? I mean, we read the New York Times article, we saw the New York Times article.
Then she goes on, he or she is certainly not a reliable source of information. In parentheses, in the allegations of Swedish social services kidnapping, the original spreader was found by Psychological Defense Agency to be linked to Islamic State. So should we believe the agency or should we not? Oh my God, I don't get it. As for the map that documents Northern Europe's lack of hospitality, the poster sheepishly admitted, quote, I do admit the research that was done wasn't extremely professional and that the meaning of the color may have been exaggerated to the point it almost looked like as if Northerners never give food, which is of course not always true. So basically the guy went, it was an online joke, although the people posting various complaints about Sweden clearly have the right to do so, Swedengate is a sorry tale of the damage that unverified allegation can cause. Which country, organization, or person will be targeted next? It could be any country, any organization, any person.
Man, I just
think and verify. Odd tales are not just innocuous fun.
I just hope that these are the kind of problems that we face from now on going forward. So Iranians made fun for drinking tea 24/7, not drinking water, only tea, or I don't know, some other exaggeration, something like that. Huh?
Iran depends on which city. If you're from Esfahan, you're stingy. So if you're Azeri, or not intelligent. If you're from North, you're cuckold. Just it depends on what you're. But then I would say, Kamir, first they made fun of Sweden and I said nothing. Then made fun of Scandinavia. I said nothing. Then they made of whole Northern Europe and I said nothing. And now I think they're going to post and make fun of the whole world. And I don't know if it's too late now or not.
What are we going to do?
So stand up, guys. Stand up. And I apologize for the spread of misinformation last time. I apologize sincerely. Again, I don't know what is with us and misinformation. It's just everything we cover turns out to be misinformation.
But it's just really funny. But I mean, to me, it's really funny because she could have had an article about how the New York Times really spreads misinformation, because they're the ones that put it into like an overall context and made it seem like it's widespread.
That person, right? I can't wait to find the New York Times. I can't wait till I find a New York Times article for the next week, because that whole bit about the child sitting and the smell of the meatballs are coming and the child brings his hand and the mother goes, no, you're not allowed food. You're not a family member. Go. I don't know what New York Times thinks is happening in Sweden, but I am feeling it's not that bad. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
So, as always, I thought I end with the most important story.
Yeah. And again, I still don't know if that was misinformation or not. She did not provide research to debunk how much. I still don't know if I go to Sweden, I'm going to get fed or not. I'm kind of in limbo. Fine, fair enough. The New York Times will agree that it seems to have partaken in spreading misinformation.
And it was, by the way, again, New York Times thing, you're right. She should have focused on that because it was so racist as well. It's like saying, I imagine in Iran, I was eating kebab while with drinking tea, and there is a smell of saffron. It's just so racist to assume that everybody in Sweden 24/7 is eating meatballs with lingonberry sauce. It's just like, what the fuck?